another, I guess, vlog, a vehicle vlog. Just out kind of taking a drive.
Charles George 5646 William Adam 045867.
A lot of activity out and about here in San Jacinto and Hemet. I guess there was a shooting and a hostage situation at one house, and then there's a drug house where they're manufacturing that the ATF is at tonight. The ghetto birds flying around. A bunch of my peeps that know I have a scanner, and I kind of follow some of this, but most of it's just more depressing than anything to hear how bad this town I live in. But I guess you could say it's kind of entertaining. I wouldn't say entertaining, it's just being aware of stuff that's going on, I guess, is a good idea. I did a video earlier because I had to go get Roxanne back because she's going to be my daily for a while. Because I've got vehicles either just painted or getting painted or different levels of disrepair or modification. And I've been having a lot of things bugging me lately with work and customers and personal stuff. Which is silly because I've got a bunch of cool cars and a bunch of cool projects, and that guy's just snoozing at the green light. And I like driving this car, which is one of the reasons I don't want to be in it all the time, because this car freaking boogies and it's hard not to drive fast. I don't have to tell you how fast I've gone if you've followed me and seen any of my videos, but it definitely gets on the upper half of the triple digits without much effort. Kind of thinking, I got told by a couple people that out at El Mirage Dry Lake Bed they're doing time trials tomorrow, and ever since I saw one of my channels that I follow, I've got like 3 girls that I follow on YouTube that do car videos, and one of them's just starting to work on cars. Her name's, she goes by Macbeth, and I've got Sarah and Toon. And then I always forget the name of the third girl, but she's into more like tuner cars. She just got a I think it's a Buick Regal that she's gonna make into a drag car. Haven't been following her a lot because I've got some other videos I've been liking to watch. Getting into more music stuff again. Not really into music, just playing music, but not really into following artists and their stuff. But there's a couple people out there that have been doing some pretty cool stuff, and so I've been more following like music stuff lately, and then doing my own thing. But just about, I gotta reset my clock. It says 0:35. It's about, that means 1:30 in the morning. It's actually 12:30, but I got to charge my phone, both my phones, because I've just been working a lot. I had to go to a couple emergency calls in the past couple days, and they took a lot of time and effort. Kind of stressed me out a bit. And so I don't know if I'm going to work tomorrow. I've had a lot of days off because of illness, and one of the things that's kept me from going to Wasteland Weekend last year, and almost kept me from going to Wasteland Weekend this year. All of a sudden something clicked and I felt better 4 days before the event, so we got some last chance tickets from some participants that actually were volunteering to help set up and tear down the event well, when they buy tickets, they offer to volunteer, but until they actually fulfill their commitments for volunteering, their tickets are still under their name. And then once they fulfill their commitment, the tickets come up for sale. So they're like this last chance thing, which I know are going to be there because there's a lot of people that participate and volunteer. So we got the last chance tickets. My buddy's car was finished and done. He did a couple more things. My car needed some stuff done. I'm talking about Charlotte and Vixen. Well, after we got back from the event, Lee, let's say Lethal is one of his names, but I'm just spacing tonight because I'm actually out trying to blow off some steam. Eldorado, which is what he goes by for Wasteland Weekend purposes. That was fun. And I go by Cheese Grater out there. Well, I gave him Vixen, which originally was going to be the Mullet, which is that wreck 2008 Sacramento Police Department Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, which got wrecked really bad. And I've got videos that talk about what it went through and what it was doing. And come on. You're in such a hurry to get to the stop sign, but then I let you go and you just creep. So, one of those, that car that I gave him, which wasn't finished, I did some, basically, I made the floor plan for the car and started the basic platform of the car, and then he just went completely crazy with it and made it what it is today. But it just wasn't his thing, the way it was set up, the attention it got. And one of the things on my bucket list was to get a Mad Max car. Well, I already have a Mad Max car. I've done some racing. I don't know if that was necessarily my bucket list. I've raced a lot, but not professionally, and still haven't raced professionally. But I got a chance to run in this Night of Destruction thing, which is what I first ran Charlotte in. Got to do that, and it was fun until it wasn't fun anymore. And I achieved a lot of goals I wanted to achieve, and then actually after the goals, I had more fun because I just, I wanted to be on the podium, wanted to win a couple races, wanted to get a couple trophies. So I got 3 trophies and 3 not monumental prizes and earnings and money, after initially really failing miserably at doing these events. And now I'm thinking about doing them again. I haven't raced in these races, in these events. We'll call them redneck races, because Night of Destruction, if somebody doesn't know anything about it, it's not a demolition derby, it's a destruction race. It's actually called a demo cross. So if people out there know what an autocross event is, that's when you go around obstacles and turns and slaloms, and you try and, it's a timed event, you try and go as fast as you can with a said car and a said set of conditions. And this is an obstacle course, but the obstacles aren't just yellow cones and walls. It's actually big industrial size truck tires, broken down cars, boats, other broken down participants' cars, and you're encouraged to run into each other. Sandbagging in that type of race would be like, a couple cage fighters or, boxers that decide just to keep running around the ring and not getting hit. So, you have to hit other people. You have a couple, I call shakedown races, which are heats, where you take, if there's a field of, let's say there's 20 cars that are going to go in the event, you take 2 10-car groups, you put them together, you run them, and you basically weed out the garbage. I mean, a lot of the cars are made from trash, Some of them are really good cars, but the local salvage yards and impound yards usually sponsor, like, I don't know if I can say the names, but let's say a pull your part or a pick and pull. You know, they have some guys that they let pick and choose out of the salvage yards and dismantling yards. They just put a couple cars together, or find cars that run good, and put some minor details and safety equipment in them, and you go out and you do these 2 heats, and then the final race, or the main event feature, is a 20-lap race. And of course you're racing to try and get in the lead and be the first past the finish line, but it's also a last man standing like death race for cars. So the rules used to be there are no rules, but then they started figuring out, because of liability reasons and stupidity and the part of the participants, that they had to make a couple rules. And one of them, of course, was don't run backwards on the track against traffic, which somebody did. Probably, I think the last time I raced, somebody had an F-250 or F-350 truck that got spun around after it T-boned another car that was basically kind of a sitting duck in the back straight. His car got hit with a scrap iron gem really hard, bent the whole chassis of an actual built type of race car. Then he just went ahead and drove backwards against traffic until he hit head on, just after turn 1, I think it was a Lincoln Mark 8. Luckily the car wasn't built too strong. And when I say built too strong, people take demolition derby cars out there, they take Ironman cars, wire cars, welded cars, race cars, stock cars. And when I say stock cars, I mean actual racing stock cars. Or they take just completely bone stock cars, literally right off of the street or the junkyard or grandma's backyard. So the stronger the car's built, the harder a hit it can take. But of course, all that energy when you get into an impact is translated into force on the driver. But luckily his car wasn't built strong enough, so it actually absorbed the impact, completely destroyed his car. Didn't destroy the F-250 because it was a 4-wheel drive that was lifted. But let's just say that guy is no longer allowed to do that racing at all. And I was probably about 3 cars behind that car when this incident occurred. So I decided not to race anymore. I got all my steam blown out. I had fun. I did a bunch of cool stuff. Learned how to drive a little better. The next race, now they had motorhomes there. I forgot to add that. So they had motorhomes sometimes at the race. Well, there was a motorhome that was actually sitting at the venue, if you will, parked, that somebody wasn't using anymore, and somebody at some point ended up with the carburetor from it just sitting there. I know who they are, but I'm not going to tell on them. But so this guy brought a carburetor, a plastic gas can, probably some duct tape, hose, and whatever else it took to get that motorhome running, and he decided to run it on the track. So he's running around the track with everybody else and getting hit and crashed into and crashed into other people. Well, he ends up rolling somehow, which you can't really roll a motorhome. I mean, you can, but you can't. He ended up flipping over, but since the whole interior was gutted, from what I recall, all the structural integrity of the actual vehicle was very altered, let's just say. Just think of it like a tissue box full of tissue with it not opened yet, and it's pretty sturdy, it's pretty strong. But if you punch open the part that you pull the tissues out and you grab all the tissues out at once, you just got a flimsy, literally only about 4 flat pieces of cardboard, and then the 2 that are left have a big Their stressed members and structural integrity is maintained as long as they're the way they were built. Well, everything was gutted out. So instead of actually like just flipping over and landing on its side, the RV kind of like fell over, collapsed partially. I guess the gas tank jumped around. Don't remember, but I think it landed technically back on its wheels. But all the bodywork had fallen kind of in a mismatched way around the person, and the gas can must have come in contact with the hot exhaust and caught on fire, and of course it just melted. I mean, the whole thing went up like napalm, and he burnt for quite a while inside the motorhome with everybody watching. And again, I was the third. I would have been probably I probably would have been somewhere around 4th or 5th position at the beginning of the race, because usually the people that do really well in the heat races get put to the back, because then they want them to be able to drive through the slower traffic, because it's just better entertainment. If you put somebody who qualifies good, it's not like and I'll say real racing, it's not like a professional racing where you qualify for the opportunity to earn a pole position. Well, in this type of racing, if you run really fast in the preliminary heats, then they're like, well, this guy's going to run really fast. Let's give him a challenge. Let's put him to the back. Let's make some carnage happen. So my car was pretty fast because it wasn't built really strong. I mean, I had a lot of safety features in it, but it was by no means a bad to the bone ironclad car. So I got knocked out of contingency several times because of just hitting other cars that were stronger than mine. This was the first race I didn't go to, and that vehicle catching on fire, if anyone, there's video on Scrap Iron Jim's channel if you want to look it up, because he actually had gone, I think he'd gone to a Subaru at that point. He had a 1960 Chevy Belvedere, but he transitioned to like the Subaru, which actually takes out to the desert, and I think he goes out to Arundel. He goes to several events with it. And when I say Subaru as a Night of Destruction vehicle or a demo cross vehicle, it's a good car. It does pretty good. Yeah. So, long story short, hold on a minute. Hey. Oh, I'm taking a drive. The only thing I got in the refrigerator is a case of beer I was going to take to the funeral, and since I'm a newly found bachelor now, that's the only thing I have to eat. I figure I better go eat something before I start tearing into the beer. Huh? Yeah. Because I get bad hangovers. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm actually in Damagoni because I'm driving the twin turbo car, just taking a little drive. But I'm gonna go over to that Castadenas or whatever on State and Ramona Expressway and get some super nachos, and then I'll go home and sing a George Thorogood song like I drink alone. But I don't think there's anybody around to go drinking with, so but I might go to El Mirage tomorrow. They're having time trials there tomorrow. This car does 148 miles an hour in the limiter. I'd like to see what it does out there on the dry lake bed. I probably won't do 148, but it'd be cool to see what it can do on the sand. Not the sand, but the dry lake bed. What are you doing? I've been listening here and there. I wouldn't be surprised if they went over to a different channel. I've heard some CDF and AMR and a couple of traffic stops and stuff, and there's not much going on, so they're probably in the process of getting a case against the homeowner for the actual. Oh, you mean for the? Oh no, I was going to drive over to San Jacinto and drive around. What street talk about a place that was on the end of San Jacinto and First, so okay, so I'll probably go over there and see what's going on. I'm just about into Sun City right now, so I'm going to turn around and head on back. So, but I just like driving this car too much. That's when you get rid of it. So it goes too damn fast. So, but I don't know if I can turn here. Oh, bastard. But yeah, I'll go check it out and I'll let you know because I'll be up for a while. So, I'll talk to you in a bit. Alright. Yeah, it's one of my buddies that has the local shops that helped me build my demo cross car, Charlotte, to make it safe. So he's telling me where the hostage and shooting, I guess somebody got shot and there was a hostage situation. So I figured, well, I'll go drive around and go see him, kind of blowing off some steam. I'm just going to make another half-hour video. I'm not going to make longer than a half-hour video. Most of the stuff is... I got a crappy channel with kind of crappy content, but I've got about 50 subscribers that like what I do, which is... That's what I do it for. I just like people that are into what I'm into, and a lot of the videos I watch are just people that I just watch and go, wow, you know, that's cool. I'm more realistic to watch stuff that I think I could do or that makes sense for me to follow because it's something I enjoy and it isn't like just over the top crazy. I mean, crazy stuff, but you know, like I've watched Jackass before and I've done stupid stuff like that, but not at that level. But anyways, yeah, I really appreciate my followers and I try and make sure anybody who subscribes, I sub to their channel. I usually check out a channel at least 3 or 4 videos before I sub, but if I sub to somebody's channel and I see they got stuff I'm into, then cool. If not, I still keep the subscription because that's the way it works. I don't monetize anything. I don't know if I ever will. I'm just doing it. I don't know. It's just something I like to do. I mean, it helps. I just like to talk, but you know, some of the people that do videos that I'm subscribed to do the exact same videos I do, but mine are really scattered. There's guys that just do like videos on police car, you know, retired police cars or cops that actually do videos. I've got 3 or 4 police officers. One's retired. He was a police officer and then he was SWAT team, and I forget if he did anything else like that. I think he might have made detective. I don't remember. I think that's another officer, but he's got a skateboard shop now, and he's getting together with like Black Rifle Coffee. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. I want to go get some donuts in a minute, or do some donuts. Oh, that sounds gay. Anyways, so I just, you know, there's stuff I like. I'm not a cop. Never want to be a cop. Never. I don't know. I did kind of for a while, but only if it was in a small town where we wouldn't have to carry a gun, which sounds kind of unrealistic, but kind of like, I don't know if you ever watched No Country for Old Men, the character that Tommy Lee Jones played. He talked about his father and a cousin or some other fella worked in Texas that didn't have to carry a gun. And some small towns, I don't think it's a requirement to carry a gun, but I'm sure they recommend it. So I watch that stuff because I'm intrigued by not just crime, but the means and ways that crime is dealt with and punishment is laid out. I do have guns. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Hold on. Oh, that's the wrong intersection. Waiting to go over Winchester and I'd like to get airborne, but of course the light's gonna change on me before I get there. I do have guns. I do have some very strong opinions about guns. I do agree with a lot of people about carrying guns. It's just the circumstances and the requirements of guns do need to be strongly adhered to make sense of what guns mean and can be and do. But I'm not a gun person, so I don't have like a bunch of guns. I'm not into buying the next biggest and baddest thing that they have that shoots projectiles. The way I see it, a very well placed round from a 22 caliber handgun or rifle in the tear duct could pretty much hit the off switch on anybody. Actually, there's BB guns that do that now. But and I watch, like I said, a lot of mechanical type videos. Like I said, I've got like I think 4 girls that actually do cars. One of them is just getting into working on them. One of them is actually a mobile mechanic. I think she has a shop now. The other one just does it for her channel. She doesn't actually, I think she does washes cars here and there. Don't think she does actually mechanical repairs for monetary gain. She basically just uses it for content on her channel. And then the other gal, what the heck is this thing? Wow. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So, and then there's guys that have mechanical channels that I watch too, but those are more elaborate. Like there's Jeremy, I don't remember his last name. There's Cletus McFarland, and then his tuner Jeremy has his own channel now, and I watch both of them because they do the stuff I'd do if I had more money to do it with. And I'm not a good racer. I'm not good at competition. I could go out and do hot laps all day long on a dirt bike or probably even a street bike or in a car. But once they put me out there and have the green flag, or the buzzer go, or whatever type of racing it is, my brain goes to mush. So having other cars as guardrails is a lot better than using guardrails as guardrails. And with the racing that I do, it's like one of those video games that you play, like Need for Speed or Forenza or whatever they call it, and you just give up on trying to make the turn or catch the apex. You just hope you're close enough to the next car that you can use their door and quarter panel as a guardrail that get you through the turn and take them out. It's kind of a sadistic type of racing, but people like it. People pay for the tickets. I drive police cars in the races, and it's funny. A lot of gangsters come up, and different sorts will say, "Hey man, I want to see your car get hit, man. I want to see them crash you out. I don't like cops, And I'm like, hey, if you buy a ticket, I'll do whatever I can to make you happy. I won't intentionally get hit, but I'm not gonna be able to avoid it. Not gonna be out there sandbagging. So that's why I do my videos. There's people out there that I see that just do stuff like I like to do, or they do stuff that I want to do that I can't. That's realistic for me to do if I had money, or the other way around. I have enough money to do some of the things that they do, but the influence that I have of what they're doing is just, there's one guy, Whistling Diesel, that, I'm pretty sure could do the things that he does. And I used to like smashing stuff and ruining stuff when I was a kid. I don't know how many we'll call them Matchbox cars. I don't know how many Matchbox cars and Hot Wheels met their fate at the hard end of a hammer or a cinder block or some bricks. I used to love to just smash up things, like have a car that was all wrecked but could still roll, which is kind of like what I do. I like watching videos of, I think it's Beaming, I forget what it is, but it's a video game or a computer game. It's not even a cars and locations or terrain, and you take cars and it's half hour. Time's up. No, they take cars that are computer generated with very realistic dynamics and attitudes, and they run them off of cliffs, run them into each other, hit them with airplanes, just to see how long it takes to break them up into pieces. Well, it's some of the things they do, but I'm not just going to take my diesel truck and put 7 feet of wheel spacers on each side, monster truck tires, and see if I can break the axles, but I'll watch it all day long. It's just fun. That's just good stuff right there. If you don't like watching that, I mean, there's no point in even clicking on channels like that, but it's just fun stuff. So, I like driving. I like the cars I have. I don't have cars of the caliber that I would like. I actually do. Well, this one I do, but it's not fixed up yet. But this is the only way I can afford to get an SHO that's in decent shape, that runs good, is to get a ex-police car that got decommissioned because of some damage, and slowly I'll work my way into getting it all fixed up. Of course, by the time it's done, it'll be for sale and it won't be mine anymore. But at least I had the chance to experience it. I've been to Chuckwalla Raceway. I've been to the sand drags with the car exactly the way it looks right now. All I did is lower the tire pressure, put on a helmet, and waited to red light. And I did pretty good until I red lighted. And will I go there again? I beat some pretty quick looking vehicles, vehicles that were competitive, but that's why I do it. I don't even know if anybody's asked why I do videos. I have people asking me, all kinds of random questions and making comments on what I do or critiquing me. I don't get a lot of negative comments for my videos because I really don't get a lot of exposure. I've had people send me messages and comments and say, hey, you need to look up this site, or you need to go on this forum. It'll really help you expose